Okay, good morning everybody, and what's today's topic on Coffee and Questions? I'm going to show you how you can make a little bit of extra money on the side by using your welder. Now I got a MIG welder like here in the picture. It's a Miller-Matic 211 auto set. This is a great welder. I've done videos on it, but whatever MIG welder you have, or even if you have an oxyacetylene welder, I'm going to show you how you can in a very cost-effective way, you can make stands like benches for a garage for people. Now, I recently just sold 5 of these, and we'll get into the cost of them. I made them for a shop. I made them almost the same size. I'm going to change the picture. I'm going to go straight to questions and answers about this, and I'm going to show you how you can get the material inexpensively. You got to do a little bit of effort and hunting around, but you can do it. You can make money. So let me change the picture, and we'll jump right to the questions. So the first question is where do I get the steel for these? If you go to Thrift Marts, Angel View, any of these places, they sell used bed frame rails, and sometimes they're mismatched, and they're going to end up throwing them out into a dumpster. So I tell them, look, I'll give you $5 or $10. I mean, depending on the quantity that I'm getting, and I get a fairly decent sized quantity of these mismatched ones, they're more than happy to get rid of them. They were going to throw them out anyway, so they'll take the money and they'll sell them to you. Okay, so how did I go about this? Well, I brought home all of these bed frame rails. I got maybe 4 sets of these. Like I said, they were going to be scrapped out anyway, so I went ahead, I brought them home, I used my chop saw, I cut off all the funky stuff, and I made them into all lengths of steel. Then I went ahead and set them to the side, and then I had this shop guy come out and said, look, I need about 5 of these, and I need them a certain size. I go, well, give me the dimensions of what you want them made to. And he did. And I came home and I cut the steel into, let's say, kits. I sat down, I just cut everything up, and then I turned around and I just started welding the pieces together like a puzzle. And I could do it very rapidly because this is a very simple project. And I made all 5 of these. Now, the deal I struck with him was, if you don't want me to do the finish work, because what I usually would do, I'll use a 4.5-inch angle grinder with an abrasive wheel on it, or a random orbital, or both, and I'll sand this steel down. I mean, I'll get the rust off it, whatever else. I shoot a coat of primer, I let it dry 24 hours, then I'll go ahead and I'll put a finish coat on it of whatever the customer wants. A lot of times it's black, but I told him, look, it would save you money, and truthfully, it's a lot less hassle for me because I don't want them sitting around that long if I can flip them fast. I made all 5 of these probably half a day. I mean, give or take. And I sold them for 55, 60 bucks a piece. A couple of them were a little bit bigger. I didn't charge him that much more, another $5. And that's the way I sold them. And then he did all the finish work. I just said to him, this is how I would finish them, and this is what I would use. And I use Rust-Oleum. And, this is how I finish them. And it's just for the inside of a shop. So for him, he saves a few bucks. He was more than happy, to go ahead and pay me to deliver all 5 of them. I've got a truck, so no delivery charge or anything. The steel cost me next to nothing. I made, a decent little amount of money just in a half a day. And like I said before, it fuels my hobby. I work a full-time job, so this is just a way to make some extra money on the side and kind of playing around, buying more tools or, more materials and stuff like that. Okay, let's take a look at the questions. Okay, how do you secure the top? I drill holes in that top railing. Then all you got to do is from underneath with like a cordless screwdriver, just shoot screws up, through it. Now, in his case, I think he used either 3/4 or 5/8 plywood top on there because he's going to mount grinders and different tools to the top of these. And he was going to put casters on them. So I told him, well, give me a call. I can always make tabs for the bottom, with holes in them. You can go out to Harbor Freight, buy the casters, bolt them on, and then boom, it's all mobile. So there are different ways that you can tweak this, depending on what somebody wants and if they want to do the work or you're going to do part of it. I don't always have to do the whole project. I told him, look, I'll make the tabs, I can come over, to the shop or whatever, and I can weld them on the bottom real quickly. Weld prepping is done easily. There's another question, how do you weld prep? 4.5-inch angle grinder with either a 60 or an 80 grit abrasive wheel. I did a whole video on abrasive wheels and where you can get, good quality, silicone ones. But anyway, that's how I weld prep them. It's fast and easy to weld. Once you have your parts cut and drilled and you just set them down basically and just zap them and you're pretty much done. So, but he doesn't want that right now. He just wanted what you see in the picture. This is something that I got at work, and I carry photos on my phone, and I just flip through them, and somebody goes, well, hey, can you make me one of these benches, but I need it in a different dimension? And I go, yeah. And then I just figure out when I want to charge them from there, depending on, am I going to be doing the finish work? Am I going to be doing all of the drilling, for the mounting, on that top rail? Are you going to want to put casters on here? Do you want me to put the casters on there? That's aside from making the plates, drilling the holes and stuff. So there's lots of variations, but this gives somebody, a photograph to look at, think about for a few minutes, say, hey, how much would you charge me? Then I start asking them, all these other questions. And a lot of times to keep the price down, like I said, they'll do the finish work. They'll go to Harbor Freight and get the wheels. So maybe I just make the frame and I put the plates on the bottom for the casters to bolt onto. So there's lots of variations in what you can do for people, and then you just adjust your price according. Well, yeah, there is another consideration. Somebody said, well, what about a steel top? I don't want to go out and buy it in sheets. So what I do is I take a look when I'm out at the steel supplier. Sometimes they have cutoffs, and you can pick up diamond plate in decent sizes. And that cost, of course, I just pass on, to whoever I'm building these for. But yeah, you can use diamond plate. You could probably double it up, and you could do different things if you want to make a welding table. It all depends on, what somebody wants. I show them this picture, and it's almost like it's a starting point. It's a basis for them. They go, wow, that's cool. Hey, can you put some more angle iron in the middle of it, and I can make like a, another wood shelf there? Yeah, I can do that. And then I charge them another 10, 15 bucks or something like that. And I go ahead and I put it on there. This gives them a place to start having their own ideas. And if they don't have a welder, or they don't have, a 4.5-inch angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, or they don't have a chop saw or something like that, I do. And this is where I step in, and I'll do the fabricating up to whatever point they want me to. And then I just figure out the price from there. The whole thing revolves around, why don't I advertise more? Well, I work a full-time job, and I fell into this trap, once before, where I did start advertising, and I started getting more work than I could actually put out in the time frames that people wanted it. So it's a lot easier for me not to do that. I just carry lots and lots of photos, wood project signs, things that I do out of horseshoes and all this other stuff on my phone. When I'm at work, I start showing them around. I always have something, in the works, that I'm working on. But like I said, I'm not trying to make a living off of doing it. It just gives me extra income and fuels my hobby. But you could certainly do that, if you put the effort into it. I just don't want to be overwhelmed with it right now, because I work a lot of long hours and a lot of overtime. Do I ever run across people that are very difficult to work with? Yeah, I think you mean as far as customers. Yeah, I do. I call it asshole pricing. Once I find that, somebody's like that, I had it happen a while back where the guy was a real jerk. About how he wanted these things done and how fast he wanted them done, and I couldn't do them. And I told him out front, and he was like a real jerk about the whole thing. And I told him, okay, yeah, I can do it. And I gave him a price that was almost double. Wasn't quite double, just a little shy of that. And I priced myself out of it. And I figured that's fine. I don't care. I really don't want to deal with people like that. Like I said, I'm not running a business where I got to kiss everybody's butt. So, I get plenty of work, from plenty of nice, good people. So I don't need to worry about the difficult to deal with people. Now, if somebody wants something extra, like I'm going along and I got the steel, and the steel is pretty much free anyway. A lot of times I just throw it in and do it. If it's something that's not going to require a lot of time, it makes them real happy, and they're repeat customers. I've got one guy I think I've done business now with 7 times. Over, the internet. I've never met him. He keeps buying from me because I always make sure I do something extra for him. I think the last time around he bought horseshoes from me. He bought 50. I sent him 58 or something like that. I always do or try to give something to that customer more than what they originally, were contracted with me to do, or whatever were paying me to do. So, that's one tip, I suppose. If you're more than good to the people that you're doing the work for, I can pretty much guarantee you they're going to come back to you. I mean, you know, and if they got any problems with anything that I've done, I fix it for free. All right, so I mean, it is what it is. The benches are fast, they're easy to make. If you take a look, 4 uprights, you got some railing. I mean, you can weld on there. You take your angle grinder, smooth out, round off the corners, figuring out whether or not they want the finish or whatever extra they want on there. There you go. Give it a try. I mean, you can make money doing this because a lot of these shops are more than happy, I mean, to have somebody else make them, especially if you can keep your prices down, and they're going to order 5 of them or so like they did for me. So, all right, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is just a quick tip on how to make some extra money. I hope you click subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and keep following me. I'll talk to you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.